Hey, hey, hey. I wanted to come on here because I was thinking, and anytime I'm thinking, I feel like I need to share everything. There are so many things that come to me that I'm like, okay, I got to get on and do a video. But a lot of times I'm like, do people really care what I have to share? And I don't know the answer to that, but I feel like it's my responsibility to come on here and give you the information anyway. This song right here that's playing in the background is Leela James' Complicated. This is like one of my favorite songs by her. I think she is so talented. And yeah, and that song, the background singing, oh, it's just some good music. But nonetheless, I was thinking about what my responsibility is to me being here in this time and space. And I believe my responsibility is to help people live the possibilities of their lives. I feel a lot of times we just go through life not truly living and not experiencing the fullness that is around us. We're not intentional with what we do, with who we serve, with how we show up. We just go through the motion. And recently, I have been reading this book called The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Schwarna. And it's a really, really good book. I think that's the person's name. I'm not really sure. But there was something that was in this book. I take lots of notes. When I work out in the mornings, I try to stick to routines. And so I was excited to read this book because I used to get up at 5 o'clock with no problem. Now I struggle. So I said, you know what? I need to get back to that because when I get up at 5 o'clock, my day is so much better because I'm able to get up, work out, pray, meditate, read, and do all that before 7 o'clock in the morning and still have my entire day to do what else I need to do. And so I want to get back to that. So that's why I was reading this book called The 5 a.m. Club. And one of the things, I take lots of notes when I'm reading. And this book said, there was a quotation from Norman Cousins that said, "The tragedy of life is not death, but what we let die inside of us while we live." There are so many people who have given up, not thinking that they can do, be, and have whatever it is that they desire. I was having a conversation with someone who I knew from high school. Well, I knew him, he didn't know me. But I was talking to him and we were talking about Ted Ginn. If you're from Cleveland, then you know Ted Ginn. He's this phenomenal person who coaches one of the high school teams here in football and track. He has his own school. He's just a wonderful hero, really. That's what my friend called him, a hero. And he truly is. He is a legend. Wonderful guy. I'm privileged to know him. And I was thinking about all the lives that he's touched. He has an all boys school that he helps these boys become young men, responsible, respectable young men. And I was thinking, like, what he's doing is not difficult. It just requires work. We all have all that is needed and necessary to make huge change in this world, but we sit on it. We don't do what we're supposed to do. And I'm speaking to myself too. One thing I will say about Ted Ginn Sr., he had a son who played football, and he sent a lot of kids, a lot of the kids that he coached ended up going to the NFL, but he has a passion for what it is that he does. And he allows that to drive and be his motivator. And he is just living this grand life. And I'm not saying grand in the sense that people may think, but I'm just saying as far as the person he is and the impact that he's making on other people. I really, really have to do better. He's an inspiration. He's a motivator for sure. And he's definitely an influencer. And so after having this conversation, because I went to a track meet last week and it was an AAU school, AAU track meet, and I saw a team that was called Ginn Elite. And I say, he's just in everywhere, just making impact. Someone who, just grew up here. I've known him for many years. When I used to officiate track, I came across him, and my mother knows him. We went to some graduations, so definitely someone who I respect and admire. And, again, someone who is an inspiration to me in the city of Cleveland and beyond, actually. But I was thinking about something. And so I wanted to share. I can't give you everything this book says because there is so much. But I do have a group that I'm going to start. I have not promoted it or anything. I started it. I put the page together a while ago, and it's called 5 a.m. with Andrea. And if you are interested in the learnings of this book, I can definitely come on and teach some things in that group. So find the page 5 a.m. with Andrea and just join. Right now, it is just me that's in that group, but I do want to do something with it because it truly, truly can change your life if you just give yourself an extra hour in the morning to get centered for the day and to plan what it is that you want to do for the day so that that day can be better than your yesterday. Because every small improvement that we take every day would just make our lives that much better. And so I wanted to share some things that they talked about. I can't remember what these were the 5 rules of, but I'm just going to say living your best life and being intentional about what it is that you're doing, not playing games anymore because we don't have time. But rule number 1 is that an addiction to distraction is the end of your creative production. And I will say this, that we're all creative beings. I remember I used to say that I wasn't creative, but it's just because I didn't tap into that part of me. But once I did, it was like creativity begat creativity. I became more creative as I became more creative. And so it's in all of us. And if we want to change ourselves and the world, we'll just say, you have to be creative in doing it. And so we cannot be addicted to distractions. One distraction is what you're watching me on social media. And a lot of people are addicted to it. But even TV, all the things that really don't necessarily feeds us, yes, it makes us feel good in the moment, but we're not necessarily learning, advancing, growing, evolving as a result of it. Now, I'm not saying that you can't, because I try to make my social media one that I'm learning from people. If I see some things, I'm also having fun, I'm laughing, all of that too. But I'm saying we cannot be addicted to the things that's going to distract us from what it is that we're supposed to do. We have to get busy. Playtime is over. Rule number 2 says that excuses breeds no genius. If we continue to make excuses for why we haven't done what we're supposed to do, we'll never be able to be the genius that we can be. And mind you, our genius is just our genius. It doesn't have to be the genius of someone else, but our genius. We can never get to that place to our fullest possibility if we keep making excuses. Number 3, all change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. People don't like to change. I don't mind it. I love change because I know that that is how I grow. But I just want to remind you that it may not feel good, but in the end, it's going to be gorgeous. Rule number 4, and this may not be everybody's goal, but we'll just say, if you want the results that the top 5% of people have, then you have to do what 95% of the people won't. It requires sacrifice. Waking up at 5 o'clock for me is serious sacrifice. I really would love if someone called me every morning and say, hey, get up, sunshine, because there is no sunshine and I need it in order to wake up. I've been doing pretty good lately. But still, it would be nice if somebody just decided to just wake me on up. And number 5, when you feel like surrendering, continue. Like, don't quit. Don't quit. If you want whatever life you desire that you want for yourself, go after it. Don't quit because of obstacles. Don't allow the excuses that I talked about in rule number 2. Like, keep going. Keep going. Because whatever you have that you dreamt for yourself, it is attainable. Else the dream wouldn't have been there. And so I just wanted to share those with you because I thought it was important. And one of the things that this book also talked about, like this book, I thought it was really good because it is one of those professional development type books, but it was told in story form. And so it made it easier to read. But it also said that the old you has to die before the great you can come forth. And I remember in my book, my first book, The Beautiful Journey, which talks about my cancer diagnosis, that I felt that the old me had to die in order for me to move forward and do what it is that I'm supposed to do. And it was hard. I mean, I felt the transformation happening as I went through it, but I really wanted to hold on to the old Andrea because I really did like who she was. Now, this person who I am today, I like even better, but I didn't know that, right? Because I had to go through the metamorphosis. I had to go through the transformation. I had to let that old person die so that I could be the person I am with you today. So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, if you want some more jewels, some nuggets, some pearls of wisdom from the 5 a.m. club, or if you just want to join me in waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, join my Facebook page and we will figure this thing out together. In the summer, it's much easier because it gets daylight around 6, right? And so I have just a little bit of time before that to be in the darkness. And I remember in the beginning, it was difficult for me because I'm kind of scary. So knowing that I'm up at 5 o'clock when most of the people around me are sleeping kind of had me scared. You know, I want to be asleep too so that I don't have to think about it. But I realized that that is not helping me get to where I need to go. And so now I appreciate the 5 o'clock because there are no distractions. Most people are not texting me at that time. You know, I may get some text periodically, but most of the time it's quiet. I have the time to myself. There are no distractions. I don't have to worry about making a phone call anytime soon because no one else is going to be up, right? So I decided I wanted to discipline myself and make that commitment so that I can be better and do better and have more and have better, I should say too. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. So anyway, again, join my page, 5 a.m. with Andrea, if you're interested. All right, take care. Bye-bye.